Hello friends. Today we are going to discuss a very interesting topic from the artificial intelligence and that is nothing but the gaming. So all of us, that is all the humans, are very much interested in playing the different games, whether they are physical or with the mobile. How these games are getting developed and how they are getting evolved, so that we are going to see today in this particular lecture. So after completion of this lecture, you will be able to understand what is gaming and how it is implemented. Also, you will be able to explain the different terminologies that are used in the gaming while designing. So, if you can see here, these are very much familiar pictures to you, and these are the different games that you usually play. So, in all these games, we are playing nowadays all these games on a mobile, and if possible, we are playing it on the notebook also. But then, if it is not possible, then we are using the mobile for playing all of this. So you can see from the first one, that is tic tac toe. Then you can see the chess game. Then this is the Mario, which you must have played. Initially, you must have played it on the that video game where that hardware was coming, and then you will be playing it with the remote. But nowadays, it is possible to play it on the mobile also. So there is a advancement in that case. So all of you must have played all these kind of racing games, and then nowadays, which is very much familiar, that is PUBG and everything. Let us see how these are getting implemented. So basically, what is a game? Game is nothing but the something where the two opponents will be there, and then one wants to win, and obviously whoever is going to win, the other is going to lose. So the same simple logic in that case. So we are not going to discuss about the PUBG and all, which are the very latest games, because it is very much difficult to implement all of the games. But today we are going to have look at the very simple games like tic tac toe or the chess playing. Which are the different algorithms used in that case? That also we are going to see. While developing all these games, what is our motto is to develop the intelligence of the computer to such an extent that it will be able to win, and then he will be a winner. Okay, so now let us see a simple game that is tic tac toe. Now all of you are familiar with this. So here there will be two players, one is min, one is max. So let us consider that a human being is the max. Suppose I am a max, and then other person will be min. And with this you can see there will be 9 possibilities, and then one will be a cross and one will be a circle, and then accordingly, depending on the different conditions, we are going to reach up to the goal. So either the mean will go mean will win, or max will win. So mean max are nothing but the two players. Now in this case, if we see a human, as a human being, we can limit our thinking up to a certain level. That means if this is the move, then uh, we can just predict next two levels that the next opponent is going to play. But for the computer, he knows everything. That means all the this particular tree you can see that is present in the memory. But in our case, that is in the human, we cannot go up to all the stages. We can only predict this level 1 or level 2 at the max. So uh, as a human being, we can only think of that, and for machines it will be very much easy to recognize all the stages. So before starting this, let us be familiar with some of the important terms, and then we will start actually the algorithms. So in this video, we are going to only study some of the important terms, and then we will start with the actual algorithms, which are nothing but the mean max algorithm, and other is the alpha beta pruning algorithm. So here, as we know, there are actually two types of agents, multi-agent and a single agent. So if it is a single agent system, then he is going to take care of itself, and then the intelligence is dependent only on that particular agent. But in a multi-agent environment, multiple agents are going to be there, and multi-agent environment was introduced initially by the researchers in the gaming using AI. So nowadays you can see the multi-agent system into the smart cars, that means driverless cars. So there is not a single agent, there will be different types of agents, and then they will be communicating with each other, and then actions will be dependent on the action of the previous one, or if some agent is taking some action, then what will be the consequences of that, that will be predicted by the other agent, and then accordingly the decisions will be taken. So that is the case which where we are using it nowadays. But multi-agent environment was introduced initially in the gaming for playing. So when we are designing multi-agent environment, we need to consider the actions of other agents and how they affect in our in their own welfare. So how they are going to uh, perform, and then that what will be the effect of that we are going to see. Then the and it is not predictable, that means the other agent for a particular agent, how the other agent is going to behave, it is not fixed. So that is unpredictable. So that unpredictability of other agents can introduce to the contingencies into the agent's problem solving process. So there will be a conflict between the two agents, and then there can be a problem. So there can be actually two types of environments, either cooperating environment or the competitive environment. So if it is a smart car, then there has to be a cooperating environment, because if one agent is doing something and other is not able to recognize that, then, or the second is doing something and third is not able to recognize that, then that can be a problem and it may lead to an accident. But in this case, we don't want to go for that cooperating environment. In the gaming, always there are opponents, and everyone wants the other person to lose. So that's why here the kind of environment that we are using is the competitive environment. So competitive environments are the environments in which the agent's goal are in conflict, so giving rise to the adversarial search problems, and that is known as the games. In mathematical game theory, a branch of economics views any multi-agent environment as a game, and provided that the impact of each agent on the other is significant, regardless of whether the games are, regardless the whether the agents are cooperative or competitive. Now in AI, most of the common games that are called as the deterministic games or turn-taking games or two-player game or zero-sum games of perfect information. Deterministic has been the environment is known to us. While playing, either it will be partially observable or fully observable, so that comes under this particular deterministic. Then turn taking, that means suppose it is a car racing game, then accordingly turn taking games can be there, or two player game. Suppose chess is there, then that will be two player game, or tic tac toe is also two player game, so likewise. But now say nowadays if you see a PUBG, then it is a multiplayer game, so multiple persons are playing from their place, and then accordingly that game can be continued. And as you know, there are many seasons for that also, that season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, and then so on. So the agent inside that is being very much intelligent, and then they are trying to have the different levels of that particular game. Now in this case, this all these are zero sum games. So zero sum games means what? We are going to see the utility. Utility means when we complete a game, then what kind of rewards we will get. Okay, so if we play a game, then we don't get obviously money. Nowadays we are getting for some of the games, but previously when these games were getting designed, then at that point uh, that you are not going to get any money, but you will get some reward points. So how many points you will get, so and in which case, so that is nothing but the zero sum games. So these are zero sum games of perfect information. So perfect information means deterministic, and it is fully observable environments in which two agents are alternately and in which the utility values at the end of game are always equal and opposite. So fully observable means if it is a chess, then it is fully observable. That means we know what the next person is going to play. Okay, so whatever may be the move, that move can be predicted out of that. But if it is a smart car, then we cannot predict. Or in PUBG also you cannot predict who is going to come from which side, and then who is going to attack on you. So that is nothing but the partially observable. Okay, or unobservable environments are there. So fully observable environment, that means they are going to give you the perfect information, and we can determine that it is deterministic, in which two agents are alternately. So if my chance is there, then I will play, then the computer will play, then again I will play, and then again computer. So they are going to play alternately in this particular condition, and in which the utility values at the end of the game are always equal and opposite. Now equal and opposite means if I win, then that computer is going to uh, fail, or it is not going to win, it is going to lose. And if the computer wins, then I am going to lose. So these are equal and opposite. So here the example is also given: if one player wins a game of chess, the other player necessarily loses. So now let us see some basic terminologies also. So here you can see on the left hand side, uh, tic-tac-toe game is given, and here you can see a max, and then min, and again max, and then again min, and then up to the final level we are going to reach. So as I told you, there are alternate players. So suppose I am max, then I will play first, and then the computer will play. So what is our responsibility of the max? That means to give the maximum. So we want to put the efforts to win, and then maximum efforts are done for that. And min means minimum efforts, or mean is also going to take the maximum efforts, but then for me, that is for max, whichever is the best move, that is going to be the worst move for the min, and whichever is going to be the best move by this min is going to be the worst move for max. So it is obvious, because they are opponents. So whatever best is played by the max, that will be the worst for min, and with whatever best will be played by the min, that will be the worst for the max. So accordingly, we are going to calculate the different values, and then we will try to have the tree like this. So that we are going to see when we will try to understand the min max algorithm. First, try to understand which are the different terminologies while used while designing any particular game. So here, this is the initial state given, where a matrix of 3 by 3 is there, and then 9 squares are there, where we are having all of them are blank. So either we can put a cross. Now it is fixed. As we start the game, at that point also we decide who is going to take a cross and who is going to take a circle. So here max is going to put a cross, and then min is going to put a circle. So if for this max, how many combinations are possible? So you can see here there are 9 possibilities for this max. So either it can put it here, or next, or any possible possibility of putting the x in all the 9 places. Now suppose max is putting it here in this particular x, then min is going to have again the different conditions. Then if it is putting it here, then we are going to have the different conditions. And likewise, unless and until we reach up to the goal state, we are going to have the different combinations, and these combinations are nothing but the different states. Okay, so we are going to reach from this max, start from the max, and we will reach up to this. So either the max is going to win, or the min is going to win. Now when the max is going to win, if he is having 3 cross in the same line. Okay, so if you see here, in this particular direction, 45 degrees direction, we are having this xxx, where the max is going to win. In this case, we can see the 3 circles are there. That means that win is going to min is going to win. And in this case, if you see all of them are full, and none of them is able to win, then that is a tie condition. So as I told you, utility function. So utility function here is going to be the in terms of points, and then points are nothing but here if someone wins, that is +1, and the other one will lose, then that will be -1, and if there is a tie, then that will be a 0. So accordingly, you can see here S0 is the initial state, so this will be the initial state, and which specifies how the game is set up at the start. Then players, here there are two players, that is the max player and the min player. So this defines which player has the move in the state. Then which are the different actions. So returns the set of the legal moves in the state. So in this case, we can move either on the left hand side, right hand side, upper side, or lower side accordingly. So those can be the different actions. And then results. So the transition model which defines the result of a move. So we are going to form one model in the way where the moves will be considered, and then the result will be formed. Then the terminal test. A terminal test which is true when the game is over and false otherwise. So once the game is over, then we can define this terminal test, and then the utility. So utility function defines the final numeric value for a game that ends in terminal state S for a player P. So the utility value can be either +1, -1, or it can be 0. So in chess, outcome is a win or loss or draw. So again the same case, it will be +1, 0, and -1. So here as we have seen it for the tic-tac-toe, similarly for the chess also. Zero sum game, this already we have discussed. A zero sum game is defined as one where the total payoff to all players is same for every instance of the game. So payoff are not going to increase or decrease, they are going to be consistent. So consistently we are going to give them. That means suppose at the first stage we are getting +1 and the other one is getting -1, then in next time we are not going to make it 10 times. That means this will be +10 and this will be -10. No, it is not like that. They are going to be consistent. So depending on the games, we can have these different kinds of the utility points, and then accordingly we can move. Now what is a game tree and search tree that we are going to see. Now once we explore any particular state, so if you can see here, these are the 9 states for the initial state. Initial state, max can put x anywhere. So as we have seen, 9 possibilities are there. After these 9 possibilities, if I consider this particular one, then now this circle can be placed anywhere out of these 8 possibilities. Okay, so for this also there are going to be 8 possibilities. Okay, so this dot means there are they are not ended here, they are having some more squares like this. Similarly, now if these two are the filled, and then these 7 are remaining, for this 7 which are going to be the different possibilities. So for all of them we are going to find out all the possibilities, and then that is called as a game tree. So it is the initial state, actions function, and result function define the game tree for any particular game. And in this case, a tree where the nodes are game states and the edges are moves. So these edges are nothing but the moves. Okay, so we are moving to the first location, then second location or third location, then 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So accordingly these edges are going to indicate the moves, and states, nodes are going to indicate the game states. So different states, 9 states we can consider here, and next they will go on increasing. So for this particular tic-tac-toe, we are having relatively game trees relatively small, which is fewer than the 9 factorial, which is we can calculate this 9 factorial, and then we can go on solving this. But for a chess, if you consider, then there are over 10 raised to 40 nodes. So you can find out the complexity. It is very much complex. Even though it is a very much complex, still IBM designed a program in 1996 where that particular program was able to win, and the world chess player or that winner was not able to win that particular game. So we can have that kind of intelligent systems. I hope you have understood what is a game tree now. Now let us see what is search tree. Now what is a search tree? It is a tree that is superimposed on the full game tree and examines enough nodes to allow a player to determine what move to take. Suppose this is the total tree. Out of that, we are not going to select all of them. Any one of these 9 can be selected. So suppose if we select this one, then from this two we select this next one, then from this we select the something next. So whichever we are exploring, only those many we are going to consider. And if we superimpose that selected tree or explore tree on a tree on the actual game tree, then that will give us the search tree. So size of the search tree will be always lesser than as compared to the game tree. So like this we can solve this particular type of games. So I hope you have understood the different terminologies here. Now if you see the question can be asked whether the this gaming can be implemented with the breadth first search algorithm. So the answer is no, because if you see in the breadth first search, what we do, we are exploring every node of this. Okay, so if we consider that particular one, uh, while solving we are considering this particular algorithm. So while solving, what will happen, if I choose this particular state, I cannot go for choosing the other ones. But in BFS what happens, if I select this, then I will explore this, if I select this, then I will explore this, again I will go here, I will explore this. Every node will be explored in the BFS. But that is not the case. We don't want to go in that way, because once this mean is playing one of the move, or sorry, if this max is playing one of the move, then other moves are not possible, because only one chance will be given to the max, and any one of the state can be selected. So if it selects this particular case, then the chance will be given to min, and so that's why we cannot go for the implementation of BFS in this case. So I hope you have understood this. So the two algorithms, that is the min max algorithm and then alpha beta pruning, that we are going to see for this particular solving the different types of games.